to face the Aaron Judge. The Bronx Bombers have been scoring at a torrid pace, but the Halos have been hot as well. Now they meet what could be a slugfest. Yankees, Angels, next. Coming off their first winning road trip of the season, the Halos went 4-2 through Detroit and Houston. They played a very good team in the Astros over the weekend. And tonight from Big A, they kick off a 7-game homestand with another very good team. Yankees in town to start a 3-game set. We welcome you inside our broadcast booth and back to Angels Baseball on Fox Sports West, along with Mark Kubica. I'm Victor Rojas, and when you start talking about the Angels offense, of course, Cameron Maybin's done a terrific job when he's been in that leadoff spot. Andrelton Simmons gotten a couple of big hits, but Albert Pujols for the Angels, he's the marquee name right now. Hit career home run number 601 yesterday.
Yeah, Victor, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a lot of fun when you think about these two teams getting it. Albert Pujols is the leader. He's the power swinger on this team right now. You talk about, before we left, he got career home run number 600, a grand slam right down the left field line. Then when you think about Albert, he goes into Houston, a place where he's hit so many career home runs. 55 will make it 56. Got a fastball, drives that one out to over 400 feet to left center field. Albert Pujols has some pretty good numbers in his career versus the Yankees, so he's going to have to be the guy to hit the long ball, because the speed ball will certainly be part of it. With the Angels here stealing a ton of bases.
Well, the Yankees, I should say, have a lot of thump in their lineup. 102 home runs as a ball club. Aaron Judge leading the way.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's been really crushing the baseball. That's an understatement when you think about what he did just the other day. Hit a 121-mile-an-hour off the bat home run in Yankee Stadium, the fastest recorded on StatCast so far in the majors. And that's how quick his hands are, and while the baseball jumping off his bat. And then yesterday, hits a 495-foot home run on a breaking ball. That's the type of power he has. 21 home runs, leading all three major categories in offense right now in the American League.
Looking forward to that matchup between Aaron Judge and Alex Meyer, who's on the mound for the Angels. Tanaka on the mound for the Yankees. We're just about ready for baseball here at the Big A. Sit back and relax. Lineups and first pitch when we return. Local Southern California Land Rover retailers. By Jack in the Box, come try the new sweet or spicy barbecue bacon cheeseburger and chicken sandwich for limited time only. And by your local Toyota dealers, let's go places. Angels Baseball on Fox Sports West is being brought to you by our local Southern California Land Rover retailers. By Jack in the Box, come try the new sweet or spicy barbecue bacon cheeseburger and chicken sandwich for limited time only. And by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places.
Beautiful night for baseball on this Monday night. The Angels returning home, and the last time they were at home, they kind of struggled on that homestand, and it's kind of odd considering they've played so well here at the Big A instead of out on the road, but still a winning record here at the Big A, 18-12 so far on the season, and they will have their hands full with the Yankees in town, who come into play leading the American League East by 4-game margin, currently at 37-23. We'll take a look at that lineup that Joe Girardi will run out there. This is game number 61 while the Angels are playing their 67th game of the season, and that's the amazing thing that I mentioned in the open, is that this lineup for the Yankees, 102 home runs in their first 60 games of the season, and that's something that Joe Girardi has not had of late, especially with the young talent now that has taken over this lineup. You see Aaron Judge getting ready, but when you look at the starting lineup, Gooby, it's easy to pick Aaron Judge, but you want to talk about Starlin Castro as your pick to not click today.
Well, hopefully he won't, because he's having a fantastic season himself. The batting average of 325, 25 extra base hits. He leads the Yankees with 79 hits this season, so he's been getting on base quite a bit. We talk about Judge a lot, but there's a lot of home runs, but Starlin Castro is having a fantastic season for the Yankees.
That lineup taking on Alex Meyer. Alex making his 8th start of the season, 2-3, and a 4.08 ERA, 35 1/3 innings, 28 hits, 41 strikeouts, and 24 walks.
It's going to be a lot of fun to watch this matchup when you think about it. Alex Meyer has a plus fastball, 93-98, and a very good curveball. The Yankees hit the fastball very well, so it's power versus power. Even his curveball is a hard curveball for Alex Meyer.
Looking for his first win since May 14th, and that was here at home. As we'll check out the defense behind Alex tonight, you've got Eric Young Jr. in left field, Cameron Maybin's in center, Cole Calhoun in right. The infield with Yunel Escobar and Angelton Simmons on the left side, Danny Espinosa and Luis Valbuena on the right, Martin Maldonado behind the plate.
And Angelton Simmons has really played a solid shortstop of late. 11 games, last 11 games, no errors, 8 double plays turned in 44 fielding chances, 45 overall double plays turned for Simba so far this season.
3-game set here, and then a 3-game set next Tuesday at Yankee Stadium. Don't see that too often when you're playing back-to-back weeks to an American League East opponent. That's how the schedule works out this year for the Angels. This homestand starting with the Pinstripers for 3, and then the Kansas City Royals coming in for 4 beginning on Thursday night. Brett Gardner, the leadoff man, left fielder, ready to go. Escobar in on the grass at third, and the first one tonight's way outside for ball 1. Gardner 268 on the season, 11 doubles, a triple, 13 home runs, 29 runs batted in for the 33-year-old.
Yeah, he's really got his home run swing working so far this season. I mean, you look at what he's done on the fastball so far. That's what he's done a majority of his damage on the 2-seam fastball that Alex Meyer just threw there. 365 batting average against a 2-seam fastball. 13 home runs this season, 7 all of last year.
Meyer behind in the count at 3 balls and no strikes. Alex coming off a loss at Detroit. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 unearned run, 9 strikeouts, 4 walks, 9 punch outs. Career high for him. And there's a 4-pitch walk to start the first.
And my Hyundai key for this game, especially for Alex Meyer, to be successful against this very dangerous lineup of the All-Spring, keep them separated. In other words, don't put yourself into situations where you have those big bats coming up with runners on base.
Yankee team that's second in team batting average, first in home runs, on base percentage, and slugging.
We saw a lot of those similar numbers down with the Astros also.
They did.
The Angels really pitched the Astros very well.
Check in on Gardner. Yankees with 36 stolen bases on the season. Gardner has 6 of them. Been caught once. Yankees, for as good as they've been this year, just a game over 500 out on the road, 15-14. Aaron Hicks, switch hitting center fielder. Having a terrific season as the breaking ball's in for a strike.
I like that call there from Maldonado. After 4 fastballs in a row out of the strike zone, having to stay back on his curveball, threw a first strike. Aaron Hicks has really had a solid season for the Yankees.
Former first-round pick by the Twins, 2008 out of Woodrow Wilson High School. Now 27. 4-pitch walk to Gardner. He's at first, and Hicks takes down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Good life on a fastball, 96. He's got 3 double plays turned behind him this season. See that sun, especially when Alex gets into the stretch position, to be able to read the sign. That'll go away pretty soon.
Good break, the ball down and in.
That's a nasty curveball. Starts on the inside corner, ends up behind Aaron Hicks. That's how sharp that breaking ball is. When you talk about a breaking ball, a curveball, Alex Meyer has been very good. Batting average against his curveball this season, 118 batting average and 28 strikeouts with his curveball.
Not a big lead for Gardner. 1-2, and down goes Hicks. 1 away. Wipeout breaking ball down and in.
Now you can see why that batting average is so low against his curveball. It looks like a strike, not even close to the strike zone. Sharp break to that knuckle curve, down and in, picked perfectly by Maldonado behind the plate. Get that first out of the inning.
And right on cue, they rise for Aaron Judge. '25-year-old, native of Linden, California, product of Fresno State. Fastball is down and in.
For me, as a pitcher, these are the matchups you dream of. I remember when Dave Winfield was wearing that Yankee uniform. Even though it was never any fun, you still, that focus you have on the mound against a batter that has this type of power, that focus is even more so on making a quality pitch.
.344 batting average, 21 home runs, 47 runs batted in. He's the leader in Triple Crown categories. 1-0 pitch. 1-1.
Talk about going after somebody with a fastball. 97. And Judge, outstanding numbers versus the fastball, whether it's a 2-seam fastball or 4-seam fastball this season combined. .354 batting average with 13 home runs versus a fastball.
One and two.
Went after him again. 98. That's a special fastball, though.
Judge, the American League Player of the Week. Former first-round pick, supplemental first-round pick out of Fresno State in 2013. 27 games with New York last year. Quick check-in of Gardner.
It's a good idea because Gardner's got to be anticipating a breaking ball thrown from Alex Meyer to Judge here. Thinking maybe it be in the dirt, better chance to get a jump and get into scoring position.
One out, one on.
Myers allowed 3 stolen bases in 5 attempts against him this season.
One-two pitch. Overthrown breaking ball. He gives it a count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. Judge, the 5th Yankee to hit 21 or more home runs in the first 60 games of the season. Alex Rodriguez, Roger Maris, Mickey Mantle, and Babe Ruth.
That's a pretty good company.
6 times.
The Babe. I think that last pitch for Alex, he didn't have to overthrow that pitch. He had him set up perfectly with 2 good fastballs, lower part of the strike zone.
2-2. Swing and a miss. Down goes Judge. 2 down.
Wicked curveball once again from Alex Meyer. See where these pitches were thrown throughout this at bat, and they were all lower part of the strike zone. Then he gets that curveball to go down and away for a swing and miss.
So 2 outs. Gardner still at first. Here's Matt Holliday, the DH. Signing as a free agent this offseason. Now 37, having a solid season. Cleaned up hitter, 284 average, 13 home runs, 44 runs batted in as the breaking ball just misses down and away. Tony Randazzo calling the balls and strikes tonight. Rob Drake at first base, Jerry Davis, the crew chief, at second. Pat Hoberg at third. That's the umpiring crew for this series. Pops out of the glove of Maldonado. 2 balls, no strikes. 4-pitch walk to Gardner. Back-to-back strikeouts of Hicks and Judge to start this one. Alex Myers had 15 pitches on a beautiful night. 72 degrees. First pitch, not a cloud in the sky. And as usual, when the Yankees are in town, plenty of Yankee fans, especially down that first base line. A little bigger lead for Gardner, and there's a strike. 2-1.
It's a good fastball, lower part of the strike zone for Alex Meyer. Big thing always, and even had a conversation with the other day with him in Houston. He's just saying, I just got to make sure I stand tall over the pitching rubber and keep my front shoulder in long enough to be able to deliver a consistent arm slot.
Two-one count on Holiday. Last year, 110 games with St. Louis.
I think right now for Alex, it's the focus on Matt Holliday. Good power he has. 13 home runs. The top 5 in this lineup, all with double figures as far as home runs. Gary Sanchez also double figures in home runs, not in the lineup today.
4 hitters hitting over 300. And the second walk of the inning. 2 on, 2 outs. That's the inconsistency of Alex Meyer. Joe Nagy and Mike Soshi trying to harness.
When you look at Alex Myers, his strikeouts per 9, but also his walks per 9. 9th highest as far as strikeout per 9 innings pitched, 10.4, but also the highest as far as walks per 9. So what that tells you, it's a lot of pitches thrown. Very difficult at times for Alex to get deeper into games, but he's getting there. He's figured it out a little bit better. But he does have that wipeout curveball to get him through innings. You're going to have a batter right here. It's very aggressive on the first pitch. You got to be careful with a fastball against him.
Starlin Castro, the second baseman. Career high 21 home runs last year. He's got 12 already this season. Driven home 41. Got Gardner at second, Holiday at first. 2 outs. Top of the first. Only thrown really one good breaking ball where he's throwing it for a strike. That was on Aaron Hicks. Everything else he seemed to have kind of pulled at the glove side.
So far, he's faced 5 batters. Only once has he thrown a first pitch strike.
19 pitches, 12 balls, 7 strikes. Castro skies one down the right field line. Danny Espinosa cutting over. Valbuena gives way, and the Angels are out of the first as the Yankees leave a couple of men on. We'll head to the bottom of the first with no score. Traffic on the base paths, but no damage for the Yankees in the top half of this first to kick off this homestand for the Halos. Mentioned game number 67 with the win yesterday, 33-33 on the season. Lineup looks very familiar with Mike Trout not in there, but he is in the dugout. Cole Calhoun, the guy I think, Gooby, you are picking to have a big game.
Well, when you think about how well he has swung the bat over the last 12 games or so since the month of June turned around. Here's driving in runs, 14 runs in his last 12 games for Cole Calhoun, and he has seen the ball well and driving the ball well. 4 home runs during that stretch. Got the batting average now up to .239 for Cole Calhoun. And lefties in .294 with 8 home runs versus Tanaka so far this season. My go-to is to be successful against Tanaka here as he's 5-6. Look fastball early and drive that firm stuff deep. He makes some mistakes with his fastball and cut fastball.
First one is down and in to Cameron Maven, the 28-year-old right-hander from Itami, Japan. His 13th start of the season, 5-6 and a 6.55 ERA. Pushed back a day to get today's start. A bouncer back over the mound. Castro going to the backhand will retire Maven for the first down. Let's check out the Yankees on the defensive side of things. It's Gardner out in left field, Hicks in center, Judge in right, Headley, Gregorius, Castro, and Carter from third to first. Austin Romine tonight behind the plate instead of Gary Sanchez.
And Romine behind the plate. We talked about how well the Angels have run and stolen base of late. He's only thrown out 1 of 9 base stealers this season. So when you get some base runners against Tanaka and Romine combination, you got to be aggressive.
There's Gary Sanchez just getting the day off. Cole swings and skies one out towards center field. Hicks drifting back. He's near the wall, and that is gone. Big fly for Cole Calhoun. 1-0 Halos. There's your pick to click right there.
And for a long way for Cole Calhoun. His 10th home run, 31st RBI for Cole Calhoun. Talk about being aggressive against that fastball. Aggressive against the fastball, and Cole to center field. To boot. Tanaka knows that ball is hit very well and out of the yard for Cole Calhoun. And again, that's another home run. 18 home runs. That's the 9th home run that Tanaka has allowed to left-handed batters.
There's Albert. Shift on. Slider down low. Pujols with a home run yesterday, 601st of his career. Solo shot.
We see
10th
those
of the season.
numbers in his last 11 games. 5 home runs, 14 RBI for Cole Calhoun.
Two balls, no strikes. Three no. And there's a 4-pitch walk to follow.
You look about the velocity for Tanaka so far this season, it's really going down quite a bit. He doesn't throw a lot of fastballs. It's going to be around 89 to 93 range. Slider, cut fastball, curveball, and split finger fastball.
Last 5 starts for him, 0-5 with a 10.72 ERA. Mentioned his scheduled start was yesterday because the Orioles had swung the bats well against him previous start. They decided to push him back. He's had some success in years past with the extra day's rest.
He's had success against the Angels in his career too. 1.71 ERA.
Here's Escobar. First one is off the plate. Yednell hitting .277, 5 home runs, 18 runs batted in. Had the day off yesterday. Buena got the start at third base. Crone at first.
Well, to put it in perspective, Victor, he's lost 5 in a row. He lost 4 games all of last season.
Yep.
Tanaka.
14-4, 31 starts with a .307 ERA.
And that slider was a little bit off the outside corner by about a baseball off the outside corner, called a strike.
One and two.
And trying to get that fastball against Tanaka. You know, Escobar, had a little bit late sink, and he tried to drive that one out of the ballpark down the line on an inside fastball.
In the dirt. Romine keeps it in front of him. He was a count of 2 balls, 2 strikes. Calhoun with a home run to center. The Angels a 1-0 lead. 407 feet.
Five home runs last 11 games for Cole Calhoun.
Slider away. Full count.
It's always fun to watch every at bat for Escobar. On that check swing on a slider away. Alfredo talking to Albert Pujols. You wonder if he is going here on a 3-2 count, because Escobar does make contact.
This one off the end of the bat toward right. Judge moving over, but it's into the seats. Albert was not on the move. It's back to first.
By the way, we've been talking a lot about the offensive numbers by Aaron Judge. A very good outfielder, good range, and a plus throwing arm. Great view.
Valbuena on deck. Another 3-2. That is driven out towards center field. Hicks was already playing deep. Back a couple of steps, puts it away. 2 down. Hey, tonight's game is on AFN. the American Forces Network, now in its 75th year of broadcasting to American military personnel overseas in more than 170 countries and naval ships at sea. Welcome to those watching tonight, and as always, thank you for your continued service. 2 outs, 1 on, 1-0 Halos here in the first. Here's Luis Valbuena. 179 batting average, 3 jacks, 13 runs batted in. On board 3 times yesterday with a single, 2 walks, also scored twice.
That's the one pitch that the hitters have really laid off a lot against Tanaka this season, is split finger fastball. It's very effective when he gets to 2 strikes. But until that point, hitters have not chased that pitch and forced him into fastball counts.
I also think that it's also partly because he hasn't been able to spot the fastball. He's a guy, especially against the Angels. That one's in for a strike. And that was off the plate too. And he's a guy that lived at the knees with a little more velo, and which set up and opened up the splitter for him.
Well, if you're going to be effective with your splitter, you have to have a fastball you can hit both sides of the plate on the lower part of the strike zone, because then hitters will track that and chase that splitter in the dirt.
Albert appreciates the respect. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. I think he's looking at Starlin Castro. Shift on.
That's right. I do have one. I have 1 stolen base on the season. Actually, that's 1 more than Castro, though. So he has a beat.
1-1. 2 balls and a strike. You said that you could see the frustration on Tanaka's face with every passing start once he gets knocked around a little bit. A pretty good start. 3 starts ago against Oakland, took the loss, but 13 strikeouts. Way to fouls it back. And then on occasion still getting it to the 92, 93, on occasion 94 range, but it's just not been effective.
Exactly. Talk about the numbers against his 2-seam and 4-seam fastballs this season. The hitters have really tracked the fastball well against him this season. That batting average on that 404 with 8 home runs allowed. Even his cut fastball at 393 with 3 home runs allowed.
There's that off-speed pitch. Down goes Valbuena. Tanaka picks up his first strikeout, but he also gives up a first run on the home run by Cole Calhoun, Cole's 10th of the season.
Speaking of that 2-seam, 4-seam fastball combo, gets a 4-seam fastball upstairs and drives it out to center field for Cole.
10th of the season. Alex Meyer back to work here in the second. Saw 5 batters in that first inning and walked 2, struck out 2, and got a pop-up.
And you got to trust that movement on your fastball. Start it towards the middle of the plate and catch the corner. When it starts on the corner, it's not going to stay there for a strike.
Pulled foul into the dugout. It's a count up at a ball and a strike. Didi Gregorius, the shortstop, 27-year-old, 327, 9 doubles, 6 home runs, 23 runs batted in, 348 on base percentage.
Good fastball there from Alex Meyer, a little 4-seam action upstairs. Now an option of bringing that curveball and start at that same plane and drop it towards the dirt to get another swing and miss.
That's lined into center field. Hung it. Leadoff single.
Yeah, the right pitch didn't execute that, where we've seen that curveball already in the game from Alex Meyer.
Extends Didi's hit streak to 14 games.
And he stayed back on this curveball very well. The reason why is because it's upstairs. Even though that hip was opening up, he didn't necessarily line it. He was able to keep the barrel of the bat back, even though the front hip had opened up on a slow curveball.
Chase Headley, the batter. Switch hitting third baseman, shoots one out toward left center field. This one tailing away from Maben. He'll go into the slide, make the catch. As Gregorius heads back to first, 1 down.
Tell you what, since Cameron Maben has come back from the disabled list, he's had some really good reads out in center field, playing some solid defense. Tracked that one well, good range into the slide, makes the play, gets up quickly, throws it in, so Gregorius could not tag up. But a solid play again in the outfield for Cameron Maben.
Gregorius at first base, Chris Carter at the plate. Breaking ball in the dirt, stays near the plate. .214 average, 6 home runs and 20 runs batted in so far for Carter, the first baseman.
Carter has grounded into 2 double plays, but he's a guy that hits a lot of pitches in the air.
A lot of home runs last year, 41. Drove in 94 for Milwaukee. Very highs for him.
And what we talked about in the past when we've seen Carter a number of times is avoid that fastball inside. If you're going to throw a fastball, it better be down and away. Throw him a lot of breaking balls.
18 home runs, 62 games against the Angels in his career with a .252 average. See where Maldonado set up outside. That's popped up. Luis Valbuena coming down the line. Alex Meyer. Meyer was going for it.
Yes, he was.
He wasn't pointing at it.
No. At 6'9", you're going to get the option of getting that.
He would be first. Yes, he would by default. Hey, join the Angels this Friday, June 16th, Christmas in June. Royals are in town. Fans in attendance get a Santa Rally Monkey while supplies last, and it's brought to you by Farmer John. For more info, go to angels.com. I mean, 6'9" and
yeah.
Luis, yeah, you're right. What's he going to do?
Yes. Hey,
What's Valbuena going to do? Climb him? Climb up the beanstalk and beat him to the ball?
Yeah, you take it.
So 2 outs and a man at first. Austin Romine takes a strike.
By the way, the stadium's starting to get decorated very well for the Christmas in June celebration starting on Wednesday through the weekend.
Romine, 28-year-old out of El Toro High School, 231.
That's a product of looking for the first curveball.
Hamilton had that swing over the weekend. saw Austin's brother Andrew with the Tigers this past week. 0-2. Fastball away.
I like that pitch. Perfect spot. Again, Romine looking for a curveball. That's just a little bit off the outside corner. Now you have the option to go in a fastball again, or now you throw his curveball outside part of the plate and you'll get him to chase it. It was close enough to give that perception it was a strike.
Leadoff single for Didi Gregorius. He's at first. 1-2 now. Romine.
That's a perfect
Yeah,
pitch.
takes the fastball apparently a little bit low. Dazzle's strike zone, but a little over the place right now.
This is a perfect spot. A pitcher's pitch right on the corner.
Two balls, two strikes, and 2 outs. Leadoff man Brett Gardner on deck. And Romine shoots it to right. Gregorius will stop right there as Cole got to it quickly. For the non-call by Randazzo keeps the inning alive for Gardner with 2 men on and 2 outs.
Pretty good piece of hitting there by Romine going the other way on a fastball. Pretty good fastball from Meyer. Surprised he didn't go with a curveball at some point during that sequence. Now you have a very good run producer now up at the plate in Brett Gardner. 25 extra base hits. See what he's averaged as far as runs and stolen bases in his 6 years in the big leagues. He's turned into a pretty good power hitter this season.
Gardner got on base on a 4-pitch walk in the first.
Another pretty good pitch. Lower part of the strike zone again that Tony Randazzo is not calling lower part of the strike zone. Good curveball here from Alex Meyer. Another strike. Not called. And now Alex Meyer may be more than likely forced into a 2-seam fastball. And Brett Gardner has been very good on a 2-seam fastball this season. Batting average at .365 on 2-seamers this year with 5 home runs. So he'll be sitting on a fastball now. Dangerous count.
Three 3-0. Three 3-1. Aaron Hicks on deck. Gregorius at second, Romine at first. 1-0 Angels. We're in the second inning. 36 pitches for Alex.
19 of them out of the strike zone.
3-1. High fastball. Full boat. Runners will take off with the pitch. Runners go. 3-2. Got him swinging. Down goes Gardner. Helped out Meyer to pitch off the plate. We'll head to the bottom of the second. 1-0 Halos. The second. Hey folks, tonight we are participating in the home run challenge. Every home run and strikeout in this game raises money for prostate cancer research. So far since June 1st, over $2.5 million have been raised in the challenge. You can make a pledge by going online to homerunchallenge.org. Simmons, Young, and Maldonado for the Halos here in the second against Masahiro Tanaka. Pulled down the line past Headley. A base hit for Simmons. Is he going to try to go to second? And boy, you know what? I think he's regretting not going now. It's a leadoff single.
I think that even talking to Dino Evil before the game, the arms of the outfielders for the Yankees have been very effective. And Gardner, when he's able to charge a baseball, like he was able to do down the line as it gets by Headley at third base, he's throwing the ball well. 3 outfield assists this season for Brett Gardner, even though he's playing him more so to left center field, but he got around that baseball well and got that in quickly. It would have been a tough play. Although generally with no outs, leadoff hitter, you're going to try to take that extra base, but Gardner's very solid as far as throwing the baseball out in the outfield.
Leadoff single. Here's Eric Young Jr. Headley in on the grass at third. Bunt on the first base side. Carter fields it. And they got him at first. That was awfully close because Castro was waiting for the baseball before he touched the base with his foot.
Mike Scioscia's going to wait a little bit. Dino Evil calling in to Steve Solis. They were pretty quick on that one. Still a nice job by EY Jr. High throw. Be able to get the foot down just before Eric Young Jr. stepped on the base, but that hustle all the way down the line. See that? Getting that foot in there just before EY Jr. does the Castro.
I think with Carter at first and Headley at third base, you definitely have to try to take advantage of the corner infielders and put the ball down and make them force them to field it.
Very similar to what we were talking about in Detroit with Castellanos and Cabrera. You have to force them to make plays and come in on the baseball, bring them closer. That way you get a base hit by him if you're swinging away, too.
Headley with 10 errors on the season. Martin Maldonado up. Simmons at second. 0-1 count. Martin hitting .259, 5 home runs, 17 runs batted in. 0 for 4 yesterday, but drew a walk and scored a run.
Remember we saw in the last couple of games in Houston with Hamilton Simmons at second, getting that walk and lead and going. 8 stolen bases himself this season. Castro trying to keep him close.
Breaking pitch, rolled foul. 0-2.
One thing about Tanaka, though, he's very good as far as slowing down a running game. Always has. He's pretty quick to the plate. Under control, is able to hold the baseball for a long period of time to keep runners from getting a walking lead. Simmons was timing that a little bit better. Anytime as a pitcher you're varying your look back to second, if you get a pitcher that looks back 3 times every single time, well then that 3rd time when you look back and you look towards the plate, that's when you go.
Maldonado strikes out, swinging 2 out, second strikeout for Tanaka.
I'm just looking at Tanaka so far tonight. When he gets 2 strikes on a batter, he's a lot more effective. That's why I talked about getting to him early in a count. Whether it's a slider or split finger fastball, when he gets 2 strikes, he's very effective. I think when you look at Tanaka, you don't worry about working at pitch count, because when that bullpen for the Yankees is very good, you'd rather get a better opportunity to score against the starter in the game than worry about getting down to the bullpen of the Yankees.
Espinosa looked like he went around. He did. Danny hitting 164. 7 doubles, 5 home runs, 21 RBIs. 1 for 4 game yesterday with a single and 3 punch-outs.
Big block by Romine behind the plate, anticipating that splitter in the dirt.
One ball, one strike. Leadoff single by Simmons, sacrificed to second, still standing there with 2 outs. Only running this game, the home run by Cole in the first. Two one count. Tanaka really slowing things down here with a 2-1 count, 2 outs. Three and 1. Top of the order, Maben on deck.
Pretty solid road trip for Espinosa. 267 to 4 for 15. 3 RBI. A good count right now. The sit fastball. Cameron Maben on deck.
Three one. Full count.
And a 3-1 slider. When you look at percentages of fastballs from Tanaka, just 33% fastballs, although a lot of off-speed pitches.
Here's a payoff. Danny goes down swinging, and the Angels leave a man in scoring position. We'll head to the third, 1-0 Halos. you by the Hyundai Better Than Ever sales event with the best total savings on select models in Hyundai's history is going on now at your Hyundai dealer. Top of the third, Alex Meyer back to work with a 1-0 lead. 2-3-4 coming up for the New York Pinstripers. The Yankees in the house, the first of 3. Hicks, Judge, and Holiday. 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, 2 hits allowed for Alex. Aaron Hicks struck out in the first. Hits this one towards second. 1 pitch, 1 out to start the third.
Well, you like that for Alex Meyer. A lot of pitches in the first couple of innings. Nice play by Danny Espinosa. Get that first out.
These guys look as if, and obviously this is our first go around of seeing these Yankees. We've heard a lot, we've seen a lot of the highlights, but they are looking to bum rush early on fastballs.
Yes, they are. And a lot of the guys, their batting average against fastballs this season, well over 300, upper 300s.
Fastball in for a strike. Judge punched down in the first.
Two fastballs in a row, 1 for strike, 1 out of strike zone. The numbers for Judge versus 2 and 4 seam fastballs this season have been extremely high himself, driving the ball well. 13 home runs versus the fastball. See those numbers versus 2 and 4 seam fastballs. 359 with 13 home runs, but look at that batting average versus the curveball this season. 563 with 3 home runs. He struck out on a curveball first at bat.
One, 2. Breaking ball away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Breaking ball. Caught the inside part of the plate. Down goes Judge. 2 outs.
No backup curveball. See a location for Maldonado where he wanted it. It backed up on him, but gets the inside corner. Frees him. 2 at bats, 2 punch outs. 1 looking, 1 swinging via versus the curveball by Alex Meyer to Aaron Judge.
Matt Holliday worked the walk. Takes a breaking ball for a strike. Two-out count. First time tonight that Alex has retired the leadoff man. Gets the first 2 outs here to third. 47 pitches now. 3-1.
So important for Alex when he gets those quick outs like this to finish off the inning as quick as possible.
Off the plate, a 2-out walk. At least according to Tony Randazzo.
Pretty close to another strike rate on the corner, it looked like. Fastball, 4-seam fastball. Paints the outside corner, doesn't get the call.
Castro popped down his first time up.
14 batters face only 6 first pitch strikes for Alex in this game at this point.
Breaking ball in there.
The curveball under control. When you talk about percentage of pitches thrown so far this season for Alex Meyer, 98.1% between his fastball and curveball. That's the highest percentage. He's basically come down to throwing 2 pitches. His changeup is actually pretty solid, but he doesn't throw it a whole lot. But he can change speeds enough with his curveball. That's the pitch that gets hitters out in front.
Two balls and a strike. Frustrating part for Alex, I'd imagine, along with Charles Nagy, is that you look under control, you get a couple of quick outs, including a big strike out of Aaron Hicks, and all of a sudden the release point just kind of goes away from you.
And you almost like you muscle up instead of just staying back. He has a very special arm when you think about the movement on his fastball and his curveball, but when you overthrow, you see that little bit of a frustration in Charles Nagy's look, and he's generally always a good poker face when you look at Charles Nagy, but that's frustrating as a pitching coach because Alex Meyer has electric stuff.
It's a 5-3 ball counts. We're in the third. Back-to-back walks for 2 outs. So 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. And again, traffic on the bases for Alex Meyer.
See if he went on this pitch. Of course he went past the plate, didn't get the call.
Hey, celebrate Father's Day on Sunday with the Royals in town. First 20,000 adults in attendance get a Father's Day coffee mug courtesy of Old Dominion Household Services. For more info, just go to angels.com. So 2 base runners in each of the first 3 innings for the Yankees. These 2 via the walk after the first 2 outs recorded. Didi Gregorius, a leadoff single in the second, is 1 for 1, a 14-game hitting streak now. Career best for him. Trying to jump on that first pitch fastball a little bit late on it. 0-1. A little flare out to left field. Falls in for a base hit. Holiday will score. We're tied at 1. Issue of free bases via the walks, and you ask it for trouble with a team like the Yankees, the way they've swung the bats of late.
He just went with this pitch. You see he's shortened up. He chokes up on the bat, just trying to make contact. That's exactly what he did. He flares into the left center field for an RBI single.
Second hit of the night for Gregorius. 24th run batted in. So still 2 on, 2 outs. Chase Headley takes ball 1. Headley a fly ball to center field, more towards left center field in the second, so he's 0 for 1. Castro at second, Gregorius at first. Good speed on the bases for the Yankees.
Boy, that's another pretty good pitch. It's just not getting called lower part of the strike zone.
Tony Rendazzo looking into the dugout. They're asking where that pitch was, but that got a lot of the strike zone again.
That somehow borderline pitch gets called a strike. 3-1. Chris Carter on deck. 1-1 game here in the third. 2 on, 2 outs. Headley rips one to right field. Cole's there. Inning over. Back-to-back 2-out walks followed by a single. Knocks this game up at 1 as we head to the bottom of the third. Drafting held today at MLB Network Studios. The Angels had the 10th overall selection, and with that pick, the Angels take outfielder Joe Adell out of Ballard High School in Louisville, Kentucky. And the announcement was made by Director of Amateur Scouting Matt Swanson. His first draft as the Angels scouting director, and they like what they see in this kid here, a potential right fielder for an impact player for a long time.
A plus throwing arm, 25 home runs. Batting average of .562, 22 steals, a plus throwing arm. Great range, very athletic. What we've heard, the best athlete in the draft. So outstanding skills, 6'3", 205-pounder with a plus throwing arm. Also to mix in the fact that he's got the power and the speed.
Halos just selected in the second round, the 47th overall pick, and they took Griffin Canning, right-handed pitcher out of UCLA. And prior to that, Santa Margarita High School. Guy who was slated to be a first-round pick, but had some injury issues, dropped to the second round, and the Angels selected him. Another high-upside guy.
There's been some comparison between him and Zach Greinke. The way he throws the baseball, changes speed so well.
Maben, Calhoun, and Pujols for the Angels here in the third. Tied at 1. 2 balls, 1 strike.
And now it's time for the driver's seat, brought to you by the new 2017 Kia Sorento. Cameron Maben and the Angels have been stealing some bases. 10 steals in Houston. It's a club record in a 3-game series. Cameron Maben with 6, also a club record in a 3-game series, leading baseball in the American League, I should say, with 56 stolen bases.
Full count. Cam grounded out in his first AB, so he's 0 for 1. Got a piece of it to keep the at-bat alive.
That's the one thing as a hitter, you can never just sit on a fastball against Tanaka, especially as the at-bat progresses. He'll throw a cut fastball in, slider. You saw that slider there to Cameron Maybin.
Now the payoff. Oh, chopper towards short. One down. Brings up Cole.
And that at bat for Cole in the first inning was worthy of a Carl's Cam replay. Cole jumping on a fastball from Tanaka and to dead center field, his 5th home run. His last 11 games for Cole Calhoun. Driving the ball well, using the entire field. Very important for Cole.
Tenth of the season, 31st RBI.
Tanaka remembering that first pitch fastball.
To the shift on with 3 on the right side. Headley stays at home.
Real good split there from Tanaka. After that leadoff hit by Simmons in the second, it's really settled down.
Tapper foul. 3 straight. .41 pitches for Tanaka. 25 have been strikes. 3 strikeouts, 1 walk, 2 hits allowed. Going outside. Called strike 3. Down goes Cole. 2 down.
That was a pretty good pitch by Tanaka. After some off-speed pitches, paints the outside corner. Framed very well by Austin Romine behind the plate. See where he's set up. Tony Rendez, a home plate umpire, good look on that outside corner with his fastball.
Albert worked the walk in the first.
Well, when you look at where Albert was drafted by the Cardinals, 13th round, 402nd overall pick, 1999 to MLB draft. Really, it's a tough call. There's been a lot of great ones drafted later in the rounds to develop into Hall of Famers like Albert will be in the Hall of Fame down the road. Mike Piazza in the Hall of Fame now. What was he, a 62nd round pick?
Albert goes down swinging at Tanaka. Sits the Angels down in order here in the third. We'll head to the fourth. Tied at 1. game of this 7-game homestand. Stay tuned for the business of sports, brought to you by AutoNation, featured in tonight's post-game show. Told you it's a perfect night for baseball.
Oh, yes, it is.
Let's do the game from up there. Like to see you call pitches from there.
Oh, yeah.
8-9 and 1 for New York here in the fourth. Carter, Romine, and Gardner.
Well, this Yankee lineup is balanced. They have power. They also have guys that work counts well, use the whole field.
Jumper toward the left side. Escobar cuts in front. Carter retired one way. Austin Romine coming up.
It's pretty cool before the game out there in the pregame show, the energy and the buzz outside as the fans were coming into the stadium. A lot of energy now. You know, there's always a lot of Yankee fans that come into the ballpark here, but when you think about this young team, yet they still have some veterans around them, playing very well ahead of schedule. Very good team going right now, especially after this playing a 3-game set against the Astros, being tested the Angels here.
Two balls, no strikes. 4 strikeouts, 4 walks. 3 hits allowed for Alex. Line toward right center field. Maven's there. 2 down. Camera was shading him that way.
These 2 baseballs hit very hard by Austin Romine in this game. Lined a single in the right, and that one the right center field. That Maven made another nice play on. It's 2 good plays in the outfield by Cameron Maven.
Third round pick by the Yankees in 05 out of the college, Charleston. Native of Holly Hill, South Carolina. He's carved out a nice career. 0 for 1 today with a walk and a strikeout. Longest tenured Yankee now. How about that?
There's a lot of trade rumors with his name in there this winter. Been an all-star. Pretty good names to be associated with.
Fell back.
And over the years, very quick on fastballs inside. You got to be real careful if you're going to try to sneak a fastball inside against Gardner. His hands are quick on that pitch inside.
Oh, down goes Gardner. A 1-2-3 inning for Alex Meyer. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th. Still tied at 1. brought to you by the all-new 2017 Subaru Impreza. Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive plus 28 miles per gallon. More than a car, it's a Subaru. By Heffernan Insurance Brokers. Insurance and financial services for you and your business. Visit hefins.com. 1-1 tie as we start the bottom of the fourth here at the Big A. That's the first-year player draft going on, and it is kind of a crapshoot. And look at that guy.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I was playing stickball, but a scorer, my dad came driving by in the old station wagon and said, "Hey, son, you just got drafted by the Kansas City Royals." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool," because they just played the Phillies in the World Series the year before. So, like, had that big smile on my face. It was one of the most magical moments in my life to be able to get drafted by a team that just was in the World Series, a team that I was actually rooting against.
You had great hair in high school. You had the feathered look back then. Did you used to have the comb in your back pocket? You did, didn't you? You did.
You know, I did. I think
the big plastic comb sticking out of your back pocket.
Picking up.
You did. Cool. Look at that thing. It's all feathered back.
Feathered back.
You went from that to the mullet. I love it.
Oh yeah. That's my dad in the background there. That smile he had. He was super proud. It was a great moment to spend with my whole family at that time.
Escobar grounds out. One away. Right there in the middle.
Oh, yeah. Old pen charter. It's my dad over there on the right. Good old days. Yep. That's a pretty good stirrups, by the way.
Those are.
Yeah, they're old school.
Did you used to cut them to put the elastic in there to make them a little bit higher?
Yes. And then I had the white shoes too. But by halfway through the season, my toes were actually hanging out through the cleats at that point. So that was even a solid look along with the stirrups.
No pitcher's toe back then?
No. The comb in the back pocket.
I know you did. Did the old skating thing on Friday nights too, right? You did, didn't you?
Oh.
You did. I know you
did.
Yep. Couple skate only. Couples skate only. I could totally see you doing the skating, holding hands, and then say, "Excuse me, babe," and then take the comb out. Just flip it back. Tighten yourself up.
Oh, there you go. Probably not.
1-2 count on Valbuena. Meanwhile, Tanaka's retired 7 straight since the leadoff single to Simmons in the second.
By the way, my wife Lisa was able to find that picture. I couldn't even remember that. That was a long time ago, quite a few years ago. She was able to find that today. Helps out with Father's Day coming up on Sunday also. I'll never forget that day, though. Just playing stickball, Scorio with about 16, 17 of some of my friends back there in the schoolyard in Philly. Just waiting around, wondering if it was going to happen, and lo and behold, it happened. You always knew when my dad was driving that station wagon, he always had that sound, that whistle sound. It was an older car, older station wagon. So we knew he was coming by.
You think you did something wrong?
Yes. Usually I'm running the other way when I hear that station wagon coming by. Running for cover.
Two down. Valbuena, second time he's gone down swinging. 6 punch outs now for Tanaka.
Starting to get locked in. Real good balance for Tanaka. See that cut fastball, even if you make contact, it's going to be pull foul or off your leg. It's that good of a pitch. He has really settled down for someone who has been struggling. He's made some quality pitches early on, other than that one pitch to Cole Calhoun to hit out in the first.
Gone to the bread and butter. He's gone to the off speed. Show you one fastball, maybe not even a strike, and then get you to chase. Simmons, a leadoff single in the second, was stranded in scoring position.
Very successful road trip for Andrelton Simmons.
No balls, 2 strikes. Foul back. Romine. Warning track has a pop out of his glove.
Gets back towards that netting, and then the last second reaches out off the glove, unable to catch that one. Ends up picking up an error on that play. Giving it out to Simmons. Another swing at the plate. And forces Tanaka to throw potentially some more pitches.
That's line towards center. Hicks coming on, and he'll make the catch as the Angels are down in order. 9 straight retired by Tanaka. We head to the 5th. It's a 1-1 game. Proud America's champion in golf's can't miss major of the year. It's the 117th U.S. Open beginning Thursday on Fox, FS1, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. So much young talent on the tour. And it'll be really tested anytime that U.S. Open, the rough, quick greens. Looking forward to it.
Alex Meyer back to work here in the 5th. 2, 3, and 4 coming up for the Yankees. Hicks, Judge, and Holiday. 5 strikeouts and 4 walks, 3 hits allowed. No balls. Pardon me. Yeah, 0-1 count. Takes a strikeout in that first inning on a nasty breaking ball, and then grounded out sharply, leading off the 3rd.
Talk about a hitter really settling in. Wearing that Yankee uniform, Aaron Hicks. As we often talk about when Aaron Hicks comes into town, a very good golfer to boot. As we just did that U.S. Open read, scratch golfer himself.
Ground ball left side. Escobar has it. Ball away. We'll bring up Aaron Judge. Supplemental first round pick out of Fresno State in 2013. What a huge change he's made. His approach at the plate. Last year we mentioned got into 27 games. He had 95 plate appearances and struck out 42 times. How's this one?
Yeah, had a lot longer swing, more compact with his swing this season.
He even carried over to spring training. He struggled there. Then, you know, as a 25-year-old former college player, light switch went on, and they're certainly taking a liking to the Judge, that's for sure. No balls, 2 strikes.
That's a real good curveball from Alex Meyer against Judge. Talk about the numbers versus a curveball this season. Well, been some good ones thrown to him so far. But that is a powerful swing.
Fastball missed off the plate. It's 1-2. It's been impressive to watch Judge this year, is the ability to kind of lay off those pitches away, and he would drive them out of the ballpark the opposite way. 2 balls, 2 strikes now.
You wonder if it's a product of playing, you know, half your games in Yankee Stadium, where if you hit a ball to right field, the right center field, you're going to have carry, because that's allowed him to stay back and see the baseball, let it travel deeper to hit the ball that way. See that difference in the numbers.
0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts so far. 2-2 on the way. Overthrown breaking ball, full count. Matt Holliday on deck. 3-2. And he walked him. Last couple of pitches, not even close.
Still a pretty good at bat for Aaron Judge after falling behind in the count. Did not chase those pitches.
Quick visit by Maldonado. So 5 walks, 5 strikeouts now for Alex Meyer. Holliday has 2 of those 5 walks. He scored a run in the 3rd. Second time this year in which Alex has had a game where he's walked 5. The other was back on May 9th against Oakland.
Judge with 5 stolen bases, been caught twice. That's a big man right there, Aaron Judge. Can't imagine being too comfortable if you're a middle infielder catching a throw from the catcher as he slides into the base in a potential stolen base attempt.
1-0 count. He's taller than Luis when he's down in his position to steal. He's taking his lead. Watch, Luis will kind of stretch out, waiting for a throw over. But I tell you, still got him. 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes.
Think about it. You got Alex Meyer on the mound, 6'9". Aaron Judge now at first base is 6'7".
Five walks that Alex had against Oakland, and then tonight, of course, career highs for him. 3-0.
Alex Meyer, the tallest Angel player ever.
Because of that inconsistency as far as that arm slot, you see that frustration by Charles Nagy, and it's been great stuff in the game here for Alex. But be able to throw strikes, and be careful here now. Matt Holliday will be swinging 3-0. Don't groove a fastball middle part of the plate against him. He's got great power.
3-1. Not surprised at all to see Nagy on the phone. A 1-1 game here in the 5th inning.
Yeah,
in a position to kind of at least put yourself in a position to win a game. You can't allow this kind of this inning to kind of blow up on you, especially via free passes.
In a lineup that's been dangerous, every single batter in the lineup's been swinging the bat well. Think about what they've done in the last 5 games. What, 55 runs scored?
Three-1. Full count. Blake Parker begins to loosen in the Angels bullpen. Just playing catch.
I anticipate Aaron Judge going here on a 3-2 count with 1 out.
To your point about the Yankees offense, 5 straight wins of 6 or more runs. By 6 or more runs. Check in on Judge. 84 pitches now for Alex. Probably 8 or more runs.
17 home runs during the stretch.
Judge doesn't go. 3-2's popped up. Shallow right. Cole has to come in on it.
Matt Holliday a little bit frustrated. He thought he had a pitch to do some damage. Got underneath it. It's a fly ball to Cole Calhoun and right. Yeah, when you see a hitter looking up at the scoreboard just to see if there's a replay, he felt that he had a pitch to do some damage and he missed it. Alex Meyer challenged him.
Two outs, Judge at first. Starting Castro at the plate. 0 for 1, popped out in his first inning at bat. Walked and was stranded in the 3rd.
And a very good first ball fastball hitter.
Just like that, turned around a 94-mile-per-hour fastball. Maybe a little bit of a bobble, but Judge was stopping at second. 2 on, 2 outs. We've said that in 4 of the 5 innings. Only inning in which Myers not had traffic is the 4th when he retired the side in order. Here comes Nagy's 3rd visit of the night.
'86 pitches thrown for Alex Meyer in this game, and this is more of a strategy conversation because Gregorius has had some pretty good swings against Alex Meyer so far with 2 hits, including an RBI single. 4 2/3 to 5 walks, 5 punchouts. It's 1 run allowed, but a very hot, dangerous hitter at the plate with the hit streak going. Already 2 hits in the game in Didi Gregorius.
Two singles with an RBI. 24th run batted in, tied the score up in the 3rd. Now is a single out the left field. Eric Young Jr. playing shallow and left.
And my Hyundai key for this game talked about keep them separated as far as putting the Yankees in position with runners on base to try to avoid that. Once again, Gregorius up in that spot. Very important for Alex to try to find a way to get through this inning now against a very hot hitter at the plate for the Yankees. That's a swing on a 1-0 pitch to try to do some damage. But what we've seen so far against Gregorius, he's really a guy that shortens up. He chokes up on the bat. trying to make contact. You're a pitcher, you face guys like that, it's more difficult to get them to chase out of the strike zone, especially when you're ahead of the count or even with the count. Got away with the hanging breaker ball. He had a good swing at that one. You know, if you're Alex Meyer, don't save anything in the tank, and that's exactly what Martin Maldonado is going to go out to Alex about. I need this to be your best pitch of the game.
One ball, two strikes. Judge at second, Castro at first. 1-1 game of the fifth. And he just got a piece of it off the glove of Maldonado.
Well, you can see that approach for Gregorius. He's just shortening up. He's trying to make contact, forcing the defense to make a play against him. It's a pretty good break of ball. Location. When you get a hitter to swing at something like this out off the plate, you're generally going to get him out, but you see this trying to make contact. He's not trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's trying to hit that ball and put it in play.
Two. Check swing foul. Very similar to the pitch that Gregorius just kind of flipped out the left in his last at bat. That's him shading up the middle, trying to keep Judge close to second base.
They are the most difficult and frustrating hitters to face when you're on the mound, because he's just trying to put the ball in play. You would think you could try to run a high fastball against him because he's in the mode of just trying to protect and make contact on a break ball or fastball down.
Back toward the middle, and that'll sneak through for a base hit. Judge will come in to score. Heading to third is Castro, and the Yankees have a 2-1 lead. Didi Gregorius with a 3-hit game. Off speed pitch, just went down and got it.
That's why I thought they might try that fastball upstairs. Mike Scioscia's going to go down to the bullpen now after that base hit by Didi Gregorius. Third of the game.
Pitching change here in the fifth. Alex Meyer with command issues tonight departs. The Angels down 2-1.
for Tools of the Trade, brought to you by Ram Trucks. You talk about shortening up a swing and making contact. Didi Gregorius tonight. Perfect swing. If you're a youngster at home, you're watching what you're supposed to do as far as making contact. Gregorius has been outstanding, using the whole field, letting the baseball travel, even pretty good breaking balls, staying back, shortening up, and putting the ball in play with 3 hits, 2 RBI for Didi Gregorius, who continues to swing the bat well for the Yankees this season.
Well, first and third, Chase Headley will be the batter. It's Blake Parker on in relief. See Didi's numbers through the years, 340 now this year. Parker pitching in his 32nd game, 1-2 record at 220 earned run average, 43 strikeouts, 8 walks at 28 2/3 innings. Headley, a fly ball to center, a fly ball to right. No balls, 1 strike.
That consistent fastball from Parker, 94-95 curveball, but very good split finger fastball.
Parker pitched yesterday, just 1/3 of it, and he gave up 2 hits. One of 6 relievers used by Socia to pick up the win yesterday. Alex Meyer, 4 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 5 strikeouts, 5 walks, 2 runs thus far, responsible for the 2 men on base. One ball, 1 strike.
Going back to Didi Gregorius, what he was trying to do. He's telling Tony Pena what he's just trying to do. He's getting that baseball out in front, trying to take that breakaway out in front of the plate, shorten up a swing. And that's exactly what he did in all 3 at bats. 3 for 3 for Didi tonight.
Ground ball into the shift. Espinosa out at shallow right has it. Parker gets the final out. The Yankees take the lead on the single by Gregorius. 2-1 Pinstripers as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Angels Baseball on Fox Sports West is being brought to you by Simpson Chevrolet. Big enough to deal, small enough to care. Halos down 2-1 here at the bottom of the 5th inning. A 3-hit game for Didi Gregorius, picking up a couple of runs, batted in. And meanwhile, Masahiro Tanaka has dialed it in. Gave up the home run to Cole Calhoun in the 1st inning. Also gave up a walk. But since then, just a single. A leadoff knock to Simmons in the 2nd, and nothing else since. Young, Maldonado, and Espinosa for the Angels here in the 5th. 6 strikeouts for Tanaka. Eric Young Jr. had a sacrifice bunt in the 2nd.
Boy, after starting out the game With this one first pitch strike of the first 5 batters he has faced. Tanaka's faced 11, thrown 10 first pitch strikes.
Foul tipped into the mitt. Make that 7 punch outs and 10 in a row retired by the right-hander.
Now it's time for the Coors Banquet timeless moment. Back on this date, 1997, the Angels played their first interleague game and beating the Padres 8-4 here at the Big A. First interleague home run for the Angels, Dave Hollins. Big fly against the Padres, third baseman for the Angels.
Maldonado bouncing one to third. Headley's got it. 2 down. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Los Angeles Angels. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Angels Baseball LP. Tanaka sitting at just 64 pitches, 44 strikes. He'll face Danny Espinosa with 2 outs, nobody on here in the 5th.
I wonder if that'll be the only fastball that Danny Espinosa will see in this at bat against Tanaka now. Splitter off the outside corner.
Last start for the right-hander was against Boston. Gave up 5 runs in that one on 5 hits, 5 innings of work. There's a bunt right side. Tanaka with a diving stop throws out Espinosa, and the Angels are down in order. We're headed to the 6th inning with New York on top. Three-game set. I want to remind you to join the Angels on Saturday as the Royals are in town. Enjoy a very merry post-game Saturday night fireworks show and stay after for a post-game movie. That'll be Elf. More information on the Saturday night fireworks show presented by Wells Fargo. Just head over to angels.com. Blake Parker, who got the last out of the 5th, is back out to start the 6th inning. Chris Carter, Austin Romine, and Brett Gardner coming up for New York. Carter skies one toward the corner and left. Eric Young moving back and just shy of the track, puts it away for the first out.
Just far enough away towards that outside part of the plate. If it's inside just a baseball or so more, and it's going to go a long way. Just missed it. Fastball away towards the end of the bat, but that's a pretty good indication how strong Carter is. Eric Young Jr. able to run that one down. Romine has hit the ball hard twice tonight.
Got a base hit to right field and lined out to right center. Maben making the catch on it.
They saw his brother in that last road trip in Detroit. Andrew Romine. Talent in that family.
Ball and 2 strikes. Couple of baseball families. There's kids from baseball families getting drafted today. Cody Ross's cousin, Alex Rodriguez's nephew, just to name a few. Slightly overthrown.
And you always see that in the draft. Sons of major leaguers and family members also.
Luis Gonzalez's son out of Chaparral High School in Arizona, drafted in the 2nd round by the Giants. Down goes Romine, 2 outs.
That's that nasty split from Parker.
In case you're wondering, you weren't with us earlier, the Angels drafting Joe Adell, the 1st round, 10th overall selection of a high school in Kentucky, Louisville to be exact, and Griffin Canning, UCLA right-handed pitcher.
Ben Revere drafted out of high school from Kentucky.
Gardner, so far, a walk and 2 strikeouts, 0 for 2. Joe Adell apparently just tweeted, "Los Angeles, here I come."
Looking forward to maybe see him tomorrow. Super talent.
I read his dad played for the Saints.
Yes.
1-1. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Well, we were talking about Dave Winfield a little earlier about him drafted in the NBA, NFL, and then Major League Baseball. Adell was being looked at as a guy that could play all 3 sports extremely well.
Two balls, 2 strikes. One thing that can be certain, first-year player draft, especially in the first day, because it's the first 2 rounds of the draft. Everybody drafted the best player available and the best player that fits their profile and the highest guy on their board at that time.
Exactly.
For once, I'd like to come out and say, you know what? We drafted one guy, came out of nowhere. All of our guys were already taken, so we just drew a name out of the hat. Congrats, bro.
Still pretty funny when you think about how far Mike Trout fell down in that first round. Where I'm sure there's a few general managers and scouts get, you know what? I think he could have helped us.
Oh, funny from our standpoint, not so much for the other teams that passed on him. But I mean, you don't know.
Saw Mike Trout today, by the way, looked in very good spirits, really progressing well.
3-2. Gardner checks one foul, protects the at-bat. Two outs, nobody on. Aaron Hicks on deck. Gardner letting it fly. Having this conversation with Ken Singleton before the games. Told him the games for the Yankees about the way hitters swing the bat nowadays compared to back in the day. There's one swing.
Yep.
It's max effort on everything. We're talking about the home runs and the how many home runs there are hit nowadays. Strikeouts going up. 3-2. There's ball four.
Going to have a conversation with Ken on the pregame show tomorrow. Talk about a big presence at the plate. He was fairly scary at the plate, by the way.
I'm curious, and I asked him this, and he's not sure because it's tough to kind of prove it out. But when radar guns were introduced in ballparks, it seemed as if you saw a lot of pitchers starting to throw and look up to see where they're at. We've fallen in love with velocity ever since. How much have hitters fallen in love with the StatCast era that we're in now? Exit velocity, launch, distance. I wonder if that's starting to play into it.
And the one thing I'm thinking about more so, because we showed something earlier where the percentages of fastballs thrown are down in baseball, yet velocity has increased. So what you're seeing is pitchers rearing back and throwing as hard as they can. It's firm, but it's straight, and it's allowed hitters to get straight fastballs over the plate with very little movement because pitchers are throwing as hard as they can, and they're not worried about locating and moving and sinking pitches. So these are four-seam flat fastballs, and that's where you're seeing a lot of jump off the bat.
Aaron Hicks 0 for 3. Strikeout, 2 groundouts.
Seen a lot of stress by the Yankees when they've gotten 2 outs, 2 quick outs against them.
That is the 8th 2-out base runner the Angels have allowed in this game. 2-0. A lean there by Gardner, easily gets back. Mentioned earlier, 6 stolen bases, caught once.
Was a guy that ran a little bit more so in the past, but his power numbers up this season. .25 extra base hits for Gardner.
3-0. Aaron Judge on deck.
We talked about it coming into this game. You want to avoid situations where you bring Aaron Judge up to the plate with runners on.
Gardner's on the move. It's a strike to throw down to second, and he's in there safely. Got a good jump. Stolen base number 7 now for Gardner.
And Maldonado has thrown out 41% of base stealers this season. Just too big of a jump by Gardner. Quick release and throw, but Gardner's able to get that hand in before that quick tag by Simmons at second. And not often do you see a runner going on a 3-0 count. So here he is in all-time Yankee history as far as stolen bases at 225, 6th all-time as far as stolen bases in Yankee history. Derek Jeter at the top, Ricky Henderson just below.
Good on-speed pitch.
That's that nasty split from Parker.
Full count with 2 outs and a man in scoring position. 2-1 Yankees. We're in the 6th. Down goes Hicks. The Yankees will strand a man in scoring position. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th. Top of the order coming up. Halos down 1. Now it's time for the Unlimited Baseball Break, brought to you by T-Mobile. Yu Darvish dealt for Texas against Houston today as the Rangers win 6-1 in Houston. And the Chicago Cubs struggling once again. Now 6-11, last 17 they lose. John Lackey the loser today against DeGrom, New York Mets. But the big story around the majors, what a moment it was in Pittsburgh. Jameson Taillon making his comeback after cancer treatment. Comes back and deals 5 shutout innings, 5 strikeouts as the Pirates beat the best team in the National League at this point, the Colorado Rockies, 7-2. But what an effort, what a job, what a moment for Taillon to come back and pitch well for the Pirates. Halos trying to figure out Masahiro Tanaka with 7 strikeouts. He's retired 12 straight. It'll be Maben, Calhoun, and Pujols here in the 6th. Down a run. Cameron twice has grounded out.
It seemed early the Angels were looking and swinging first pitch fastball, but then all of a sudden Tanaka made that adjustment. Off speed now going back to the fastball, and the hitters are taking it. 13 first pitch strikes in the last 14 batters for Tanaka.
That's driven out towards center field. Hicks racing back, still moving back in at the wall. Will haul it in for the first out. Hammer giving it a ride. It's the first out. Hicks, as we mentioned earlier, likes to play a little bit deeper center field.
And he is a very good outfielder. He has tremendous range. And you see that angle he took going back to the wall, the warning track in front of the wall. He's able to run that one down. Seen over the years, even with the Minnesota Twins, his head is still, his eyes are right on the baseball. And Tanaka liking that play by Hicks out in center field. Hit well by Cameron Maybin.
The one out, here's Cole. Homer in the first, struck out looking at a third.
That's back-to-back at bats for Cole against Tanaka. He's starting him off with a splitter out of the strike zone. And we jumped on the fastball the first at bat, hit a home run to center field. And the one thing about Tanaka, we talked about the numbers against his fastball. Hitters have been successful, but their secondary pitches a little bit different against them. Especially when you talk about chase percentage on those secondary pitches, third highest. Opponents have been able to sip, especially on his slider, and occasionally even on his split finger fastball when hitters have been ahead of the count.
Keenan Middleton getting ready for the seventh. Parker working an inning and a third. Two balls, two strikes. Albert on deck, full count. Home run for Cole is 10th, the RBI is 31st.
Had a career high as far as extra base hits last season for Calhoun. Tanaka been very good so far in this game. 7 strikeouts at 5 1/3.
There's a 3-2, and he works the walk.
Good at bat by Cole.
Yeah.
Did not chase.
Just a second walk issued by Tanaka. Snaps that string of 13 straight retired. Now he'll work from the stretch to Albert. Cole had a good week last week, by the way, out on the road. 364, 8 for 22 with a home run and 9 runs batted in. There've been a lot of guys that have stepped up while Trout's been out. Cole certainly stands out. Much better month of June than he had the first 2 months of the season.
You know, that last at bat for Tanaka against Albert, he threw him a first pitch fastball. Albert took it. I'm surprised if he threw him a fastball first pitch this time, though.
Breaking ball off the end of the bat to right. Aaron Judge is there. 2 down.
Albert looked like he was anticipating getting a first pitch fastball this time. Tanaka threw him a breaking ball instead.
So here comes Escobar. 2 outs and a man at first. Uni a fly ball to center and a ground ball to short. 0 for 2. So far, so good in that cleanup spot for Escobar. Long hold for Tanaka. 0-1.
He's really lived on that outside part of the plate. Spotting his pitches, whether it's a slider or fastball or split.
Line toward right center field. Nobody's going to get to us. One hops the fence. Cole got a good jump on it, and he's going to be stopped at third as the throw comes into Castro and fires it home. So it's a double for Escobar. But the Angels still down a run, have runners at second and third.
We talked about how well Aaron Hicks can play the outfield. He played this, carry him off the wall very, very well. Got that in quickly to Castro and didn't allow Ron Renneke to send Cole home. And a good swing there on the pitch out over the plate. Mentioned how well he's adjusted that cleanup spot, Victor, and he crushed that ball to right center field. But Hicks off the wall, look how quickly he gets that in. No chance to be able to send Cole Calhoun, and a wise decision by Ron Renneke. What a player that Aaron Hicks has turned into as a New York Yankee.
Valbuena 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts so far tonight. Pulls this one over to first. Carter's got it. Louis swings the first pitch, and the Angels leave 2 in scoring position. One to the 7th. 2-1 New York. Angels baseball on Fox Sports West is being brought to you by the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica, the new benchmark of minivans. Test drive one at your local Chrysler dealership today. By Mercury Insurance, we're on a mission to save you money. Log on to mercuryinsurance.com to get a fast free quote and see how much you can save. And by Buick. Middleton taking over. This will be his 19th appearance in the big leagues this year. 1-0, 2.35 ERA. He's worked a total of 15 1/3 innings, 18 strikeouts, 8 walks. Picked up his first major league win yesterday in relief. Mentioned one of 6 relievers used for the Halos in that 12-6 victory.
Well, a lot of times when you think about teams swinging the bat, running the bases well, but a good defensive play and good positioning on a defensive play can really make a big difference whether you win or lose games. And you know, Escobar hit this ball so well to right center field, but Aaron Hicks played this ball perfectly off the wall. The Hopman gets it in quickly to his relay man, so there's no chance that you can send Cole Calhoun to the plate. Well done by Aaron Hicks.
Judge, Holiday, and Castro. 3-4-5 for New York against Keenan. Judge, 2 strikeouts and a walk. He's also scored a run.
This is a pretty good challenge too here. Good fastball from Middleton. It's rushed a fastball up to 100 miles an hour in the minor leagues. That one 97. We've seen him touch 98 so far. We see that swing right there, and Middleton willing to challenge. You look at that aggressiveness from Middleton. Runs that up, belt high, a little bit above the belt, and gets it by Aaron Judge.
Like that location up there.
Yep. I think you try it a little bit higher. Looks like you're gonna go break a ball though.
Broken bat, little one-hopper past the second baseman, Danny Espinosa. It's a leadoff single for Judge.
And that's the difference you talked about earlier, Victor, in Aaron Judge this season as compared to last season. That is a pitcher's pitch, and he's able to fight that in the right field for a base hit. It's pretty good plate coverage. Fastball away, perfect spot off the end of the bat, but strong enough to get that by Espinosa into the outfield for a single. That's how strong you are when you can break your bat and still hit that ball that hard the other way. Kind of surprised they didn't go upstairs with another fastball during that sequence after Middleton got a couple of them by him.
And Holiday bouncing one and ricochets off the glove. Simmons with the bare hand throws to first, gets Holiday. One out. Nice play by Simba.
To redirect to get to that baseball and get a lot on that throw to get Holiday at first. Outstanding play by Andrelton Simmons as he's going back up the middle, thinking he has a double play ball potentially. He has to redirect and get a lot on that throw, all in one motion by Simba. Going towards the middle, redirect, bare hand, a lot on the throw to get that out at first.
Thought at first with Maldonado going out to the mound that maybe that ball got the bare hand a little bit behind the glove of Middleton, but appears to be all right.
And you have a hitter at the plate. Talked about it last at bat, jumped on a first pitch fastball. That might have been the conversation with Maldonado and Middleton also.
Castro 1 for 2 with a single and a walk. Little breaking ball, bounce back toward the mound. Middleton never even looked at Judge, who stayed a second, 2 outs.
That was the conversation. Good idea by Maldonado to go first pitch breaking ball to get Castro out in front. A little dribbler to the mound. It's a little intangibles that Maldonado brings as a catcher.
Chase Headley, or pardon me, They're batting out of order. This is Didi. No, they walked Didi Gregorius at first base. That's the old automatic walk. Was it Headley's up? How'd that happen? So now you can't look down now with the automatic walk as you're right in your scorebook. All of a sudden, there's a man at first base.
It's not a bad idea, especially how well the Gregorius has swung the bat today and how short he's been through the baseball.
3 hits, 2 RBIs for Gregorius. He's been on base 4 times now. Here's Headley, 0 for 3. A couple of fly ball outs and a ground out. Back toward the middle, a base hit. Judge is going to be waved in. He's going to score. And Gregorius ends up at third base. It's a 3-1 Yankee lead. Headley picks up his 25th run batted in.
And credit the Yankees, another base hit with 2 outs. This fastball to stay true, middle part of the plate. And Headley picks up another RBI, 25 RBI now on the season. And Aaron Judge talked about his speed, good speed to be able to score the 3rd run of the game for the Yankees. This is a good piece of hitting by Aaron Judge to start off the inning on the fastball away. Broke his bat, but strong enough to get a single in the right field.
Carter's 0 for 3. Brooks Pounders loosening now. 3-0 count on Carter. 2 out intentional walk. 2 out single. Halos just haven't finished tonight as pitchers.
And they've had some opportunities getting 2 outs. So far, the lower part of the order for the Yankees doing the damage as far as RBI.
And a walk. So they'll load up.
Charles Nagy going to try to get Keenan Middleton just to refocus now after that walk. Carter.
Got a ton of base runners for New York tonight. They've stranded 9 already and are 3 for 9 with men in scoring position.
Still, you get through this inning only down by 2. Getting closer to deal with that bullpen though of the Yankees.
Yep, had a golden opportunity to try to get a 2-out hit in the 6th, tie if not take the lead. Balbuena grounded out with runners at 2nd and 3rd. So the Yankees have Gregorius at 3rd base, Headley at 2nd, Carter at 1st. Austin Romine at the plate. He's 1 for 3.
Mancini looks like he's overthrown his breakable a little bit more so today. Freshman made that good life on a fastball, 96.
Here comes the 1-2. Romine hits it to second. Espinosa throws him out. And we'll head to stretch time here at the Big A. The Yankees add a run. Halos now down 3-1. The Angels, and really not a whole lot to report. As a matter of fact, aside from the home run in the first inning by Calhoun, the only real threat the Angels had was last inning. A couple of men on that double with 2 outs by Escobar, putting runners at second and third, but couldn't figure out Masahiro Tanaka, and have yet to really do so tonight, who's allowed just 3 hits while striking out 7 and walking 2. Simmons, Young, and Maldonado for the Angels here in the 7th. Tanaka just now at 80 pitches.
Got away with that slider. A pretty good swing by Simmons against it.
Andrelton had a base hit in the second inning to lead off that second inning, was sacrificed to second and stranded there. Fly ball to center in his second at bat. 1 for 2.
It's that little 2-seam where he tries to run it underneath the hands of a right-handed batter. Pretty effective pitch for him.
Out towards center. Hicks has to go back on it. 1 down.
Hicks has been pretty busy out in center, including that very good play on that ball off the wall that, Escobar hit last inning.
EY a punch out in the 5th. Had a sac bunt in the 2nd. 0 for 1. Headley comes in and has it go underneath his glove. That's a complete whiff. I figure that'll be his 11th error.
Yeah, try to come in on that one there. The speed forced him to come in and try to be quick on the transfer. Did not look it into the glove. It gets by him and underneath there, bringing the tying run to the plate now.
Maldonado a strikeout and a ground out.
A lot of room on that right side of the infield for Maldonado, especially seeing a lot of pitches thrown on the outer half of the plate by Tanaka.
See the alignment for the Yankees, especially in the outfield. Judge towards right field, toward the line in right field. Big alley at left center field. And Maldonado the opposite way. Quick throw. Nice play by Carter. Not the best of throws. Good lead for EY.
We can see how difficult it is to steal a base against Tanaka. Holding the ball, and then finally, our team Maldonado called timeout as Tanaka was ready to deliver the baseball. As you can see, as a base runner, you're trying to get a lead and get some momentum going. Tanaka holds the ball well, no panic. Eric Young Jr. with 4 stolen bases, a very good base stealer throughout his career.
EY's on the move, and Maldonado fouls it off.
That's a big jump. He read it very well. Sometimes as a hitter you try to be patient, especially when you can see and hear that the runner's going a good jump like that. You try to shorten up. If it's a strike, you attack. If that pitch a little bit off the inside corner, one of those ones as a hitter you think in terms of letting the base stealer get in a scoring position for you.
Again on the move, and Maldonado foul tipped that one into the mitt. The team saying that ball hit the ground. Randazzo says it did not. It's a strikeout, 2 outs.
Mike Scioscia wants some help. See if first base umpire Rob Drake saw that ball in the dirt. See if indeed this was fouled in the dirt. Solid slider. No, caught it before it hit the dirt. Eric Young Jr. picks up his 5th stolen base.
Eighth strikeout now for Tanaka. Here comes Espinosa. Clippers getting ready, but he's not coming into this game unless something happens with Espinosa or even Maven. Just looking on. Espinosa 0 for 2. Struck out in the second, tried to bunt his way on in the fifth, and Tanaka made a terrific play on it. Halos 0 for 3 with men in scoring position tonight. Little liner to right field. There's a base hit. Young's going to be waved around. Judge comes up firing. It's a high throw. It's an RBI single. Espinosa gets into second base, and the Angels are down 1.
Challenge the arm. You have to do that with 2 outs. Hit well by Danny Espinosa, driving in Eric Young Jr. The high throw, you can see the arm strength that Judge has, but an off-speed pitch, nice swing by Danny Espinosa. And as you see right there, Judge is getting into baseball as Eric Young Jr. is just touching the base. The high throw, though, allows not only Eric Young Jr. to score, but Danny Espinosa to get in a scoring position. Pumped up about that base hit, bringing the Angels to within one run now against the Yankees here in the 7th.
Tanaka is done. Tyler Clippard coming on a relief. It's a 3-2 Yankee lead here in the 7th. Joseph drawing the Angels within a run with a 2-out single, picking up his 22nd run batted in. As Tyler Clippard takes over on the mound for the Yankees. Clippard so far this year 0-3 with a 1.80 ERA. This will be his 28th game. Has 1 save, 31 strikeouts, 9 walks, and 25 innings of work.
Yeah, his fastball is not overpowering, 90 to 93. Curveball, slider, change, and a split finger fastball.
Picked up by the Yankees last year at the trade deadline for Vicente Campos, who's now in the Angels organization. Tanaka could just look on. He's responsible for Espinosa standing at second base. Cameron's 0 for 3.
See that changeup, great arm action on the changeup. If you stay back, he will elevate that changeup and you can drive it.
Clippard back with his original ball club. 9th round pick of the Yankees back in 03 at a high school in Newport Richey, Florida.
Sit fastball right now on a 1-0 count for Cameron Maben. He got a fastball right down, right at the heart of the plate. Against right-handed batters that come back with his changeup.
On a 1-1 count. Very impressive night for Tanaka.
1-1. Off speed downstairs. 2 balls and a strike.
We talked about how well the Angels ran the bases, stole some bases on his past road trip. A stolen base after an error by Headley at third by Eric Young Jr. results in a run after the base hit by Danny Espinosa. He was at the top for stolen bases in the American League.
Two on. This is pulled foul. That's on speed pitch up.
Yeah, mistake changeup. A lot of times he'll go with his split finger fastball on a 2-2 count.
Two from Clippard.
There was a splitter out of the strike zone.
Calhoun on deck. Maven 2 for 5 in his career against Clippard. Three, 2, and this one's fouled back. Espinosa at second, takes off at third. Maven bounces it foul. Three-2 Yankees, bottom of the 7th. However, Young reached on the error by Headley. So the run in unearned, as it would be Espinosa should he score. Another payoff, and Maven lines with a left center field. That'll fall in for a hit. Gardner has it go off his glove. Maven's on his way to second. He is in there standing up with an RBI double. We're tied at 3.
How big has Cameron Maven been since coming back from the disabled list? A great at bat here. Finally got a pitch elevated. Danny Espinosa getting high fives as he brought the Angels within 1. Cameron Maven with the swing here. It's our top tier play brought to you by Arco. Gets a pitch right down the heart of the plate. We talk about how he's really shortened up his swing, and he does so in the left center field, picking up a double. 11th double this season, 13th RBI, scoring Danny Espinosa with the tying run.
Here's Cole. 0 for 5 in his career against Clippard. He'll swing through the first one.
Change up.
Check that 0 for 3, pardon me. You know what? Credit Aaron Hicks for backing up Brett Gardner.
Exactly.
Because of that redirection with the glove. If he's not there, that ball's to the wall and Maven's still running.
And he's made 2 really good plays in the outfield besides the ones he's run down. Backing up that ball right there off the glove of Gardner, and also getting that ball to carry him off the wall in right center field, preventing a run from scoring. So solid defense by Aaron Hicks. As Tanaka looks on, it's a no decision.
Cole with a home run, a strikeout, and a walk.
Boy, a change up upstairs, a slider upstairs. Cole's been very good with runners in scoring position. His last 13 at bats, 7 hits.
Good lead for Maben at second. The 0-2. Cole takes low.
And since the month of June has come around, Cole has done a real good job as far as utilizing, hitting the ball to all fields. His home run to center field back in the first inning against Tanaka. Not trying to pull the pitch, shorten up a swing. The timing mechanism, getting his foot down, clearing the hip for his swing path has been very, very effective since the month of June and kicked in.
Came in batting .429 in the month of June with 4 home runs, 13 RBIs. So make that 5 home runs at 14 runs batted in this month. At 158 in May. Chance to put the Angels up. 3-3 here in the 7th. And that is pulled foul. Count remains at a ball and 2 strikes.
Steady diet of whether changeups or split finger fastballs in this at bat. So far this season, Clippard against left-handed batters in a 1-2 count has only thrown 29% of the time will throw a fastball. So it's a lot of changeups and splits against the lefty.
We've seen Cole take the off-speed stuff away to left field as well over the last week. Plus,
again, another off-speed pitch, changeup upstairs. Again, when you get a changeup or split finger fastball upstairs, you can still punch that ball the other way. In the dirt, very difficult to do so.
Espinosa drawing the Angels within a run with his single, an RBI. Maben tying it up with a double. Pujols on deck. Cole goes down swinging, and the 7th is in the books. The Angels had 2 unearned runs on a couple of hits, an error, and they leave a man in scoring position, but it's a 3-3 game heading to the 8th.
A real good swing, staying back, putting the ball in play, utilizing some speed, Espinosa, and then Cameron Maben tying it up.
Ball game tied at 3. Angels, Yankees, top of the 8th inning coming up. Hey there, everybody. I'm Patrick O'Neill, inviting you to stick around after the game to join us for Angels Live, brought to you by your SoCal Mazda dealers, joined by Jose Mota. And Alex Curry has all the player interviews, including an interview with Matt Swanson, who is the Angels Director of Amateur Scouting, get his take on the Angels' day in the MLB draft and if one particular player is the franchise. You'll find out after this one. But right now, for the final act, inside we go and join Victor Rojas and Mark Gubazan.
Thanks, Patty. Oh, welcome back, buddy. Top of the 8th inning, Jose Alvarez takes over on the bump. Top of the order coming up for the Yankees. It'll be Gardner, Hickson, Judge, and Jose Alvarez, who pitched in all 3 games against the Astros. He'll be pitching in his 34th game of the season, 0-2 with a 4.30 ERA. Gardner, a lefty, Hicks a switch-hitter, Judge, of course, a right-hander. So it could be a situation where he maybe sees 2, and then you go to the bullpen.
Gardner hitting .213 versus left-handed pitching.
Maybe just be a one-batter thing. Hicks has been good from both sides of the plate this year. Gardner, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. He's 0 for 2. He's also picked up a stolen base, his 7th.
Yeah, he's 1 for 3 in his career versus Jose Alvarez.
Oh, 1. 0-2.
Good breaking ball, back-to-back solid breaking balls for Alvarez against Gardner.
Action continuing in the Angels bullpen. A little surprising to see who's up right now for the Angels. Right-hander Bud Norris.
He'll be ready out in left field if you're Eric Young Jr. now with a break a ball away.
Down to the dirt. Bud, of course, pitched yesterday 1 inning. That was the first appearance for him since the previous Tuesday. So he's well rested. One ball, 2 strikes. Popped him up to shallow left. Eric Young Jr. comes in. Leadoff man retired to start the 8th. And we'll bring up Hicks, who will turn around and hit from the right side. 0 for 4 so far tonight. A couple of ground outs and 2 strikeouts. Keenan Middleton, by the way, who pitched the 7th, went 1 inning, gave up a run on 2 hits, walked 2, 1 was intentional. He'll pull one toward left field, hit well. Young racing back on the track. This one's off the wall. Hicks will stroll into second with a 1-out double. Fortunately, that stays in the yard.
Yeah, off the bat, I thought it was trouble. He's had a solid day in the field. He's got that foot down. The barrel of the bat on the baseball, kept his eyes right down there through his swing path. Fortunate enough for the Angels, that stays in the yard though. Double, 14th of the season for Aaron Hicks.
Jose Alvarez being yanked from the game with Bud Norris ready to go. Go ahead run and scoring position for the Yankees. 3-3 here in the 8th. Down at 3. Aaron Hicks with a double chases Jose Alvarez, but Norris called in. Clearly the guy that's been closing games out for the Angels with 11 saves on the season, 1-2, 2.43 ERA. This will be his 31st game. 38 strikeouts and 13 walks. Does yet to finish up his warm-up pitches. Took him a while to get in here. And to get started, Aaron Judge will be the man coming to the plate.
And one thing Bud Norris does bring to this bullpen is a guy that give you multiple innings. Is what is going to be asked upon him here tonight. You also got to keep your eye on the barrier. Looks back to second. Aaron Hicks can run well.
7 bags, has been caught 3 times.
And a lot of times as a pitcher, you're focused on the hitter, especially a hitter like Aaron Judge, the season he has had so far. You don't pay attention to the runner at second.
Aaron Judge 1 for 3, a single, 2 strikeouts, a walk, and 2 runs score. Espinosa trying to keep Hicks as close as possible to second base. First one's down and away.
Both infielders trying to keep Hicks close.
I don't think they're going to give him anything to hit.
Yeah, I'm surprised, especially with an open base, even though Matt Holliday's having a solid season himself. At this point, Aaron Judge is having Triple Crown type numbers
No
working.
doubt. He is having an MVP type season. Holliday has faced Norris quite a bit in his career. 10 for 40. And that is hammered out to deep right center field, and that is long gone. 5-3 New York. Again, first base open. They decide to go after him, and Judge does not miss it. 22nd of the season. Now with 49 runs batted in.
It's a pretty good indication of what kind of power Judge has, how far that ball went out to right center field. Talked about his power in our opening today, along with Albert Pujols' power. 22nd home run.
I'm sorry, I don't see any reason whatsoever to pitch to Aaron Judge in that situation. Especially after you just tie the game up. Holliday 0 for 2 with 2 walks.
Location's supposed to be away. It's a cut fastball that is at the outer part of the plate, but elevated. He's got that foot down, and he's looking to drive the ball that way. Playing in half your games in Yankee Stadium, allowing you to let that baseball travel and drive it that way. And this baseball's out a long way in right center field.
1 ball, 2 strikes. So a 2-run deficit once again. 5-3 New York here in the 8th. .438 feet the estimated distance. Two. Down goes Holliday. 2 outs.
That is a strong man to hit a ball that far the other way. Castro with a single and a walk in this game so far. That single, first pitch fastball, lined it up the middle.
Darren Castro 1 for 3 with that single and a walk. Three balls, no strikes. Gregorius on deck. He's had a good game tonight, on base 4 times with 3 hits and an intentional walk. Full count.
Pretty good movement on that fastball, 2-seam fastball.
Chase fouls it. 5 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors, 12 left on for New York. 3 runs, 5 hits, 5 left on for the Angels. Halos in the bottom of the 8th. Pujols, Escobar, and Valbuena coming up. No action at the Yankee pen, so it looks like Clippard will come back out.
A number of the hitters for the Yankees, they've had some real long at bats too.
Well, that kind of due in part to Angels pitchers not throwing enough strikes tonight. Ground ball toward the left side. Escobar's got it. Took a little too much time, and it goes an infield base hit.
Yeah, Castro's always run very well. He's able to beat that out for an infield hit. Try to get a lot on that throw, but Castro running quickly down the line, beats that one out, keeps the inning alive. When you're hitting as well as he has hit this season, mentioned leading the team as far as hits. Picks up his 2nd hit of the game.
Gregorius 3 singles, 2 runs batted in, an intentional walk. Didi extending his hit streak to a career high 14 games with his 2nd inning single. 2 RBIs tonight. He's got 25 runs batted in now. That went off the lower leg. 2-1 count.
After striking out the first 2 at-bats of the game, Aaron Judge against Alex Meyer. And then picking up a walk in the 5th and a base hit on a very good pitch on the outside part of the plate in the right field, broke his bat, and then the 2-run home run.
Gets the call, 2-2. Two-run home run by Aaron Judge, 22nd of the year, now with 49 runs batted in. Castro over at first. 2-2, and that slice through the left side. Gregorius with a 4-hit game.
Five career 4-hit games, all on the road, second of the season. It's 4 hits in this inning for the Yankees after the Angels tied it up with 2 runs with some quality at bats by Espinosa and Cameron Maybin in the bottom of the 7th.
This will be the 5th batter Norris has faced here in the 8th inning. Headley's 1 for 4, drove home a run in the 7th. Pounder's ready to go. He's been up since last inning. Espinosa out in shallow right field. Simmons up the middle with the shift on.
But Norris is trying to get through this inning to keep it a 2-run deficit. Albert Pujols will be leading off the bottom of the 8th.
Ground ball into the shift. There's Espinosa. For the 3rd out, Aaron Judge's 2-run home run puts the Yankees back on top as we head to the bottom of the 8th.
Boy, on a pitch away, showing that tremendous power going the other way. Over 400-foot shot, number 22 of the season for Aaron Judge.
Albert Pujols to lead things off. Aaron Judge with his 22nd home run, a 2-run shot off Bud Norris to put the Pinstripers back on top in the opening game of this 3-game set. And it was a blast to right center. 8th opposite field home run this year.
Albert Pujols with good numbers in his career versus Clippard. 3 for 6 with 2 home runs himself.
Headley has the one hopper. Albert retired to start the 8th. Brings up Escobar. Escobar with a double in the 6th inning. He's 1 for 3. Double his 11th. Clippard came on with 2 outs in the 7th, gave up the double to Maven before striking out Calhoun. Yankees with action in their bullpen. 3-0. Dylan Betances getting ready. Valbuena on deck. Three one. He's now 2 for 5 in his career against Clippard. Valbuena still looking for his first hit, 0 for 3.
Trying to get on base, bringing that tying run to the plate.
And there's a 1-out walk.
Just like that, you had the tying run to the plate. This, when you think about how many runners the Yankees have had in this game, just one swing away from another tie. They were able to tie it up, the Angels, with 2 in the 7th. Valbuena has that power to tie it up with 1 swing of the bat.
Luis tonight 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and a ground out. Three infielders on the right side. Headley stays at home at third.
More likely he'll see a changeup after that first pitch fastball. Doesn't do that often, first pitch to a left-handed batter. Pretty good pitch to drive, and Luis let that one go.
.22 pitches so far for Clippard. 13 have been strikes.
It's a change up right now. That change up away. A lot of room down that left field line for Valbuena. A lot of room that whole left side of the infield. Especially now with 2 strikes, you try to shorten up your approach. Saw that very effectively by Didi Gregorius throughout the entire game, just letting the baseball travel, shorten up, and make contact. Got a lot of room that left side.
One, two. Luis hammers one to center. Hicks is there though. 2 down. Joe Girardi's going to go out and make a move. Dylan Betances will be summoned from the bullpen. And we get ourselves a pitching change here in the 8th. 5-3 New York. For the 8th inning, I want to remind you that MLB.TV Premium is back and better than ever. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Plus, get a free subscription to At Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Just go to MLB.TV for details. With a man at first and 2 outs, Joe Girardi heads to the bullpen, and it's Dylan Betances, 29-year-old. Native of Brooklyn, New York, pitching in his 22nd game. 3-1 mark, a .48 ERA, 5 saves under his belt.
And his power fastball, Hole Rush's fastball up 92 to 99 miles an hour. Hard curveball, changeup. There's a lot of breakables.
Andrelton Simmons 0 for 2 in his career against Betances. As Escobar standing at first base. Andrelton's 1 for 3 so far tonight with a base hit. Wicked slider. Some action on that thing. Betances a 3-time All-Star. Last 3 seasons, 70, 74, and 73 games respectively.
He's always had a tough time fielding his position though.
Another big guy. Listed at 6'8". 8th round pick in 2006. At the Grand Street Campus High School in Brooklyn. And that is out toward left. Gardner has to go back on it, and he will track it down for the 3rd out. We'll head to the 9th inning with New York leading at 5-3. Halos go back to the bullpen. Brooks Pounders takes over on the mound here in the 9th inning. 4th reliever used by Mike Scioscia after Alex Meyer lasted 4 2/3 tonight, giving up 2 runs. Blake Parker inning and a third. Middleton 1. Alvarez a third of an inning, and Norris 2/3. Now it's Brooks pitching in his 8th game. 6 1/3 innings. 4 earned runs allowed. He'll get Carter, Romine, and Gardner, barring any pinch hitters for the Yankees here in the 9th. 5 runs, 11 hits, 14 men left on for New York. 3 runs, 5 hits, 6 left on for the Angels. Halos looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th, at the bottom third of its order due up. Carter. Backup breaking ball for a strike. 0 for 3. Did draw a walk in the 7th. 8 walks issued by Angel pitching in this game. 1 intentional. That was to Gorius in 7th. As Carter fouls this one off. No balls, 2 strikes.
See if Pounders can get Carter to chase a breaking ball out of the strike zone now. Head of the count 0-2.
Tomorrow night, CC Sabathia, JC Ramirez, Michael Pineda, Matt Shoemaker on Wednesday to wrap up this 3-game set. Called strike 3, 1 away.
That slider, tight slider inside part of the plate gets the call.
Austin Romine 1 for 4 with a single back in the 2nd. Good slider there. One and 2. A little over 36,000 tonight at 1 point in here. Good chunk of them. Yankee fans down the right field line.
Another one of those sliders that backed up on Pounders. Ended up catching the strike zone against Carter to get a call 3rd strike. That went out of the strike zone.
Two. Full count. Brett Gardner on deck, the leadoff man.
Challenged with a 92-mile-an-hour fastball, foul back.
Romine skies one out to shallow right. Espinosa drifts out. 2 down. Sixth plate appearance for Brett Gardner tonight. 0 for 3 with 2 walks.
Just a little bit off the outside corner. I've seen a lot of pitches tonight also. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts.
Andrelton Simmons calling for the pop-up. Counter to the 1-2-3. Ninth will head to the bottom of the ninth. Young, Maldonado, and Espinosa due up for the Angels, down 2. Halos trying to come from behind and pick up a W here in the opening game of this homestand. First of 3 against New York. And they'll try to do it against Dylan Betances, who's been very, very good so far this year for New York. He came in and got the final out of the 8th. Young, Maldonado, and Espinosa.
Still say make him feel his position. Force the corner infielders to make a play on a potential bunt also.
Ewise faced him. He's 0 for 1. Betances, that is. On the night, he's 0 for 2. Sack bunt. Reached down the arrow by Headley. Stole a base and scored one of the 2 runs in the 7th. Both of those runs unearned against Masahiro Tanaka. Two balls, no strikes.
As we've seen over the past with Betances, though, he can get wild. Look at his numbers so far from the season coming into the game. They 18 2/3 innings pitched, 12 walks. 35 punchouts.
This one will find its place in seats. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kind of the mentality of, I'm not dialing it down. If I walk somebody, big deal. I'll get a punch out along the way.
Exactly. He's almost the mindset also that he just doesn't let anybody else play in the field when he's on the mound.
Right.
35 strikeouts in 18 2/3.
Full count. Everything else a final in Major League Baseball. Texas beat Houston 6-1. Seattle beat Minnesota 14-3. Oakland idle 3-2, and he got him swing with a fastball, 1 out.
Yankees leading this game 5-3. Reason why? Aaron Judge. It's time for that Land Rover above and beyond player of the game. His 2-run home run, the go-ahead 2-run home run in the 8th. His major league leading 22nd of the season. Also has mixed in a single and a walk. 3 runs scored for Aaron Judge. Above and beyond player of the game by Land Rover.
Maldonado 0 for 3.
That is a firm fastball.
First plate appearance for Maldonado against Betances. It's up the count on a ball and a strike. One, 2.
Might tried to bring that one back in. The strike's a lot of movement in his glove to try to bring it back.
Two. And we got him looking. 2 down.
Nasty breaking ball from Betances, especially as a hitter. You're trying to gear up and catch up to a 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
So it's up to Danny Espinosa to keep it going for the Angels. Danny 0 for 2 in his career against Betances. 1 hit tonight, RBI single. He'll take a slider for a strike.
I always think that pitch is a slider. He calls it a curveball, but that's more of a slider. That's a sharp late break to that pitch. He said almost qualifies as a slurve, the combination of slider and curveball.
The 1. 0-2, 99. Oh, 2 on the way. Espinosa takes low. There's a lot of sliders for a guy that throws 99.
Yes, he does. He always has.
Like your old saying, if you threw 99, you just laugh at hitters.
Yeah, I would always say, here, I'm throwing a fastball.
They're going to get beat with that, right? Both very good pitches for him, obviously. 1-2. Called strike 3, and Betances strikes out the side. Yankees take game 1, 5-3.
Story of the game, Aaron Judge's 2-run home run in the 8th inning after coming back. The Angels and tying it with a couple clutch hits. One beat by Danny Espinosa and Cameron Maybin with a double. But Aaron Judge proving why he's having such a spectacular season. That MVP chant here at the ballpark, drove the ball the other way for a 2-run home run.
Tyler Clippard picks up the win, but Norris suffers the loss, and Dylan Betances notches his 6th save as the Yankees take the first of this 3-game set by the bottle of 5-3. Stick around, Angels Live postgame coming up next.